What's up, y'all? It's Dr. Danny. I just graduated from The Ohio State University College of Medicine. In July, I start my first job as a doctor, working at Nationwide Children's Hospital in Columbus, Ohio. I'm going to be a pediatrician, which means I'm going to be a doctor for kids. My sister teaches 5th grade math and science, and she wanted me to explain to you guys a little bit about how the coronavirus works, why it's so scary, and why everybody is kind of stuck inside right now. So the first thing you have to understand is that our bodies are made up of a bunch of tiny little things called cells. And your body has a bunch of different types of cells that all work together to keep you alive. Inside your cells is something called DNA. DNA is like instructions for each cell that tells them which job to do. Each of your cells holds all of the instructions, but they only read part of them so that they are able to do different jobs. I want you to meet our good friend, Alvin. Alvin is a cell who has a great job working in the lungs. You can see his DNA is right where his nose is. He works all day, every day, to help the lungs breathe. He follows the instructions of his own DNA and the signals of other cells around him. Everything is going very smoothly.
Who is that?
Yeah, bruh, who is that? Nah, but for real, who is that?
Coronavirus! Coronavirus!
Coronavirus.
Coronavirus!
He's the one who's been ruining my summer. What even is a coronavirus? That's a great question, me. Viruses are a type of germ that don't have a cell. A virus can't reproduce without invading another cell and controlling it. Once the coronavirus has control of a cell, it tricks that cell into making more of itself. Coronavirus has something called RNA, which are its own instructions. It looks like coronavirus has taken control of Alvin, and now Alvin is making more viruses instead of doing his job. Remember when I told you Alvin works in the lungs? Coronavirus attacks the cells that make up your respiratory system. So what makes up the respiratory system? Let's take a look at our friend Jalen. Your respiratory system is the parts of your body that you breathe with. When you take a breath, air goes down your nose or mouth and into a big tube called the trachea. Your trachea is like a big highway for air. It splits into a bunch of tiny little roads in your lungs that end up in something called alveoli, which are like little teeny balloons. These balloons pass oxygen to your blood. Your blood goes all around your body and passes the oxygen everywhere in your body, like your brain, your skin, and even your muscles, because the working cells in those places need oxygen to do their job. That's why you breathe faster and your heart beats faster when you exercise your muscles. Your body needs more oxygen. So let's zoom in and take a closer look at those balloons that I was talking about. This is Allie alveoli. She gets oxygen from the air you breathe and passes it to your red blood cells, who take it to all of your other cells so they can do their job. She has a whole company of cells like Alvin working for her. When Alvin is being controlled by the virus and stops doing his job, Allie can't pass oxygen to the red blood cells to deliver to the rest of the body. Allie is starting to look pretty sick here. You can see all that yellow fluid building up. That makes it a lot more difficult for Allie to take oxygen from the air and pass it to the blood. I'm starting to feel pretty bad for Allie, and pretty bad for Alvin, and I'm starting to feel pretty bad for Jalen too. I think somebody needs to come in and beat this virus up. I mean, come on. That's got to be somebody's job, right? Right? Hey, yo, whose job is this? I'm going to need this coronavirus to get taken care of ASAP. Anybody?
Anybody?
Let's go! This is Mac. He's a white blood cell who makes up part of the immune system. He's here to beat up on viruses. Some people have immune systems full of cells like Mac that recognize the virus right away and beat it up before it can do damage, and they never even get sick. For other people, Mac doesn't recognize the virus quickly enough or doesn't fight well enough. Those people can end up very sick. It looks like that might have happened inside Jalen's body, and now he feels sick. When that happens, people can get a sore throat, a cough, and a fever. If things get really bad, they might even need a machine called a ventilator to help them breathe. So how can we help Mac out? Right now, doctors are working on a vaccine to help Mac fight the virus. A vaccine makes it easier for Mac to recognize the virus and beat it up more quickly before it can replicate and spread. But doctors aren't the only ones with a job to do. Everyone has to pitch in. You may have heard of something called social distancing. That means we can't gather in large crowds or do some of the fun activities that we like to. You also have to wash your hands. Social distancing means we don't gather in large crowds because the virus can be passed from person to person. If we avoid close contact with other people, then the virus is less likely to pass to the next person. It's also important to wash your hands frequently with soap and warm water. This can kill the virus before you unknowingly spread it into your respiratory system by touching your face or pass it to someone else. You might see some people wearing masks in public. This provides an extra barrier to protect you from the virus going into your nose or mouth and causing an infection. If you do have the virus already, it can also prevent you from spreading the virus. That was a lot of information, and honestly, it's pretty advanced. So let's do a quick review. Coronavirus infects cells in your respiratory system like Alvin. It takes control of Alvin and makes him produce more coronaviruses. This damages Alvin, and that makes it hard for Allie alveoli to do her job, which is passing oxygen from the air you breathe to your blood. The immune system, which includes white blood cells like Mac, tries to fight the virus off. Not everyone has the same immune system, which is why some people who are infected never feel sick at all. Other people can get very sick. The symptoms of that illness include fever, sore throat, cough, and difficulty breathing. Scientists are working on a vaccine to help your immune system fight off the virus, while doctors, nurses, respiratory therapists, and other healthcare professionals are treating patients who are sick. You, your family, and your friends can help by practicing social distancing, washing your hands frequently, and wearing masks when you have to go out in public, like going to the grocery store. The most important thing to learn from this whole thing is that you should care about people. You should care about your family, your friends, and even people you don't know. You might be feeling sad, mad, angry, or even scared that you can't do some of the normal things you like to do, like go to school, go to the movies, go to the mall, get your hair cut, which I need really badly. But you're doing this to help other people, and that's what's important. You're being very brave. Being brave means doing the right thing, even if you don't want to, even if you're afraid to, or even if nobody's going to thank you. I hope you learned something today. Thank you for listening, and keep being brave. Tell your family and your friends that you care about them.